So many of you have been doing training at home, and the monotony of your regime can probably start to get a bit boring, maybe particular exercises, and it's hard enough training at home as it is in current circumstances. So when the enjoyment goes, we know the motivation and the adherence to your training and the progress you can make can start to waver. So what we need to do today is share 4 tips with you in terms of how you can progress, freshen up your training to make it more engaging, more enjoyable, and allow you to keep progressing forward. In true CP style, bring a bit of science to the equation. Bodyweight training, one way we can progress it is by making the movement to become explosive. Now the science behind that is when you're doing something maybe just like a normal bodyweight squat, you'll use a certain degree of your muscles, you'll recruit them to allow you to perform that exercise. When we make the movement explosive, so say for example into a squat jump, the added power and explosiveness of the movement requires us to recruit those muscles more, which allows us to be able to train them better, get bigger increases in strength, but also as well, if it's a goal, to burn more energy and more calories. Another really simple way is to increase what we call the eccentric phase of an exercise. That's essentially when your muscle lengthens. So for example, on a press up, it's when you're going down to the floor. When you're doing a lunge, again, it's when you're lowering yourself to the floor. And that added control is a way to, again, increase the amount of muscles that have to work and recruit, which again can give us more progress going ahead. And actually, it can be really good at reinforcing your technique to get even more out of an exercise. A next great progression can be to change the angle or the dynamics of a movement and exercise. So for example, if you're doing a split squat, a really effective way to move that forwards and have a little bit of an extra challenge to motivate you towards is then going to something like a rear foot elevated split squat or a Bulgarian squat. It looks very subtle, but that difference requires a significant amount of extra strength and stability. And actually, as well, the muscles will be loaded quite differently, even though it doesn't look like much. And again, can just allow us to keep making that progress go forward, so you actually feel like you're improving week on week, session on session. Last but not least is what we call a double pump. Now, using a press up as an example, what this means is when we lower into the exercise, we come out of it a little bit, but then we go back down to the bottom, then come all the way out of it. And what this means is we can use it to isolate the more harder, weaker links of an exercise. So when you've mastered that exercise, by working on that weak link a little bit more, by doing a double pump, again, it can allow us to be able to develop our strength a little bit further. But also for those of you who like that feeling of getting a pump from an exercise within your muscles, this is certainly a way to do it. And again, could just make the training just that little bit more enjoyable, feel a little bit more different to what it has done before. If your home training has got to the stage where it is a bit monotonous and you're running out of ideas and you need that little bit more of maybe expertise and that little bit more innovative thinking, feel free to give us a shout and get in touch. We're working with lots of people, not just regionally in Solihull, but around the rest of the country, giving them personalised remote programs. So again, monotony and boredom doesn't get in the way of continuing to make some great progress.